I remember the night as if it happened just yesterday. I was sitting on the edge of my bed in total darkness. The only sound in the room was the faint hum of the heater, but even that felt distant. My hands were trembling, my heart was racing, and my thoughts were drowning in shame. By day, I smiled at people in church, lifted my hands during worship, and spoke the right Christian words. But by night, I drowned in secret sins I told myself were not that bad. I was addicted to things I could not name out loud, and every morning I looked at myself in the mirror wondering, who are you really fooling? That night I whispered, God, I cannot feel you anymore. Maybe you have finally given up on me. The silence that followed pierced me deeper than any scream. I felt like I was standing on the edge of something eternal, and I had no idea that the veil of eternity was about to be pulled back. I did not know Jesus was about to show me the place I never wanted to see, hell. Before I continue, I want to pause and say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who have subscribed to this channel. You are the reason stories like mine are reaching people across the world. For those who are watching but have not yet subscribed, I truly cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button because your support is the fuel that keeps this channel alive. To all new and returning viewers, I appreciate you deeply. Do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments because your voice matters here. Now, let me take you back to where my journey really began. My name is Florence. I am from Pennsylvania and in my early 30s when this happened. I grew up in church, Sunday school, Bible memorization, choir practice, you name it. On the outside, I looked like the perfect Christian girl, but behind closed doors, I was the complete opposite. By the time I was in my 20s, compromise became my normal. I went to parties on Saturday nights and sat in church on Sunday mornings, barely awake, but still clapping my hands to the worship songs. I was lukewarm in every way. My Bible gathered dust while my phone history told the truth about my heart. I gossiped, I held grudges, I entertained bitterness, and I let pride grow inside me like a weed. Deep down, I believed in God, but he felt distant. My prayers felt like they bounced off the ceiling. I often thought, if he's real, why do I feel so numb? The truth was, I had pushed him so far out of my daily life that I no longer knew his voice. I had faith on Sundays, but lived however I wanted, Monday through Saturday. Looking back, I can see that my soul was crying out for help, but I refused to listen. I told myself I was not that bad, because at least I still went to church. But in reality, I was just wearing a mask. And God, in his mercy, was about to rip that mask off in the most terrifying way possible. The night it happened, I was completely drained. My body felt heavy, like I was sinking into the mattress, but my mind would not stop racing. I remember clutching my chest because the air suddenly grew thick, almost like I was choking on the silence of the room. My vision blurred, and I felt myself slipping away. In that moment, I thought I was dying. I remember the exact second I felt my spirit leave my body. One moment, I was staring at the ceiling, and the next, I was falling into a darkness so deep that it swallowed every ounce of light. The air grew hotter with every passing second, and the sound of screams began to echo all around me. It was not one scream. It was millions, voices shrieking, crying, begging. My ears rang with their agony, and my heart pounded with the fear I had never known. The stench hit me next. The smell of sulfur mixed with burning flesh was so thick it clawed at my throat and made me gag. I covered my nose, but there was no escape. My skin began to prickle as though invisible flames were licking at it, and the weight of despair pressed down on me until I could barely breathe. I tried to cry out, "God, help me!" but my voice seemed swallowed by the air itself. That was when I realized I was not alone. Something moved behind me, dragging chains across the ground. The sound was sharp, metallic, endless. I turned, and what I saw froze me in place. Figures, tall, shadowed, with twisted faces, were circling me. Their eyes glowed with a hatred I cannot describe, and their laughter was cold, mocking. One stepped forward, its voice like broken glass. It hissed, "You called yourself a Christian. You lived for yourself, not him. You are one of us." The words cut through me. Every sin I had hidden flashed before my eyes. Every lie, every lustful thought, every grudge I held on to, it was all laid bare. There was no pretending, no mask, no excuses. I felt stripped, exposed, guilty. The ground cracked beneath me, and fire roared upward. Souls writhed in the flames, their faces twisted in endless torment. They screamed, "Why did I not listen? Why did I not turn back?" The sound pierced me so deeply that I could feel their regret as if it were my own. I tried to run, but the ground stretched endlessly, a barren wasteland lit by fire pits and shadows. Chains rattled around me, and I felt claws graze my back. The demons taunted, their voices filling the air. "You thought sin was small. You thought grace was cheap. You thought God would wait forever." My heart sank as the truth hit me. I was trapped, and I deserved to be there. Every justification I had made for my lukewarm life was meaningless in this place. This was not a bad dream. This was real. And just when the weight of despair crushed me to the point where I thought I would never see hope again, I heard a voice behind me. A voice that did not sound like the screams or the mockery or the terror. It was steady, strong, filled with authority. It said, "Florence." When I heard my name, everything around me paused. The flames still roared, the screams still echoed, but for one moment, it was as if time stood still. I turned, and in the midst of the darkness, I saw a light breaking through. It was not like any light I had seen before. It was pure, powerful, and alive. The demons that had surrounded me shrieked and shrank back, covering their faces as if the very sight of it burned them. From within that light, I heard the voice again. This time, it thundered through the pit and pierced straight into my soul. "Florence, you are not ready. Your time has not yet come, but you must choose. Do not take my mercy for granted." I fell to my knees, sobbing. The despair that had crushed me began to lift as the light grew brighter, wrapping me in warmth that pushed back the suffocating heat of hell. I could feel my heart pounding, my body trembling, and yet a strange peace began to cover me. The voice spoke once more, gentle this time, but firm. "Go back and tell them. Warn them that lukewarm will not do. My mercy is real, but so is my judgment." Then, in an instant, the fire, the chains, the screams, all of it vanished. I gasped for air and jolted upright in my bed, drenched in sweat, my body shaking uncontrollably. I looked around my room, and everything seemed the same. The walls, the nightstand, the dim glow of the streetlight outside my window. But inside me, nothing was the same anymore. From that night forward, my life changed. I could no longer live the way I had before. The fear of God became real to me, not as a distant idea, but as a living awareness that eternity is only one heartbeat away. I poured out everything that had tied me to my lukewarm life. The hidden addictions, the toxic friendships, the careless compromises, I laid them all down. Prayer became my lifeline. The Bible, which had gathered dust for years, became the food my soul craved. Instead of running from conviction, I began to embrace it. My relationships changed too. I forgave people I had held grudges against for years. I apologized to those I had hurt with my words. And slowly, the depression and emptiness that once swallowed me began to lift. In its place came a peace I could not explain and a fire to live with purpose. Even my view of success shifted. Before, I thought life was about comfort, about fitting in, about keeping up appearances. Now I see that nothing is worth more than eternity. No sin is worth my soul. No pride is worth separation from God. And so, to you who are listening right now, I need to tell you this. Hell is real. I saw it. I smelled it. I heard the screams. And it is not a place anyone should ever risk going. But just as real as hell is the mercy of Jesus Christ. His love pulled me out when I deserved to stay there. His grace gave me another chance when I had wasted so many. God's mercy is not permission to stay in sin. It is an invitation to turn. That is what I learned. And let me remind you of this. Hell is real, but so is his redeeming love. So I ask you today, are you living lukewarm? Are you drifting through life thinking you have time to get it right? Please do not make the mistake I did. Take his mercy seriously. Repent, surrender, and let him transform your life. Before I end, I want to ask you 2 questions that I pray you will reflect on deeply. 1, if you died tonight, do you know where your soul would spend eternity? And 2, what is the one sin or compromise that you need to lay down today before it is too late? Please share your thoughts and testimonies in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every time you do, this message reaches more people who desperately need to hear it. Together, let us wake up from lukewarm living and step into the fullness of God's calling.